All right. Well, let's give it a moment or two for everyone to make their way in. We're going to learn how to do some equity analysis today. But let's start off with telling me a little bit about some wins from the weekend. Who wants to share? Who has a win
Bill,
they'd like to
I'll
share?
share real quick.
Yes, please.
I went door knocking with Chris and Chemo and Jenny. There was and Trent, and we all went out together on one of Jan Alicardi's listings, and we had a really amazing afternoon. And we talked to a lot of people in the neighborhood. We all got a couple leads, and it was really just an amazing thing.
Awesome. So wait, you guys just what alternated knocking on the doors? Like one door is your turn, the next door is the next person's turn?
Yeah, so Jenny and I had never done it before. So the first couple houses, we split up. I was with Chris, she was with Chemo, and we kind of just shadowed them for a couple houses, and then we just rocked it through the neighborhood. We all kind of just took houses and went down the sides of the street and tackled it together.
That is awesome. So um, give me a quick example of what you said, because it's not that hard, right? Nobody got injured, right?
No, you know what's funny? Even the guy, I only got yelled at once. So we were in a neighborhood where we were actually warned by a couple young gentlemen that we should be careful around here. So I knocked on this one guy's door, and he immediately screamed through the window, like, "Who is it?" So I was like, "Oh, hey, sir. I'm Melissa from Keller Williams. We're just going through the neighborhood today to invite everybody out to a barbecue over at our new house on Browns Mill behind you. So I'm just here dropping off a flyer. We'd love to have you. We're gonna have some hot dogs and refreshments. So, just come hang out with your neighbors. And if you know anybody who might be interested in being your neighbor, invite them as well." And 2 seconds later, he opened the door and he took my flyer, and I said, "Have a great day, sir. That's the only reason I'm here." And as I walked away, he was like, "I'll think about it."
Yeah,
So even the most angry person that I was knocking on their door, I got him to still open the door, talk to me, take my flyer, and possibly see him on Saturday.
that's awesome. Great job, you guys. Great job. All right, I'm going to get my screen all ready for Ryan to start sharing. Let's do one more fun experience from the weekend. Who got a new client or accomplished something that it's been on their list for a while? Who had some fun? Who kind of who conquered something, right? Who conquered like a worry or a fear or a reservation? Tell me another win this weekend.
I was with Melissa door knocking this weekend, and I have to say, yeah, we were a little nervous at first, but it turned out to be a lot of fun. We had fun. So going with a group of people, I highly recommend, because it just takes the nerves away. And if you get that, somebody yelling at you or whatever, you're not so much bothered by it because you're with other people. And so we had a good time.
Yeah, I know it's kind of like I mean, first of all, thank you, Melissa, and any others that were involved in putting that together. And thanks for everyone that participated. This is, doing things in peer groups makes it a lot easier. And you guys can kind of, as sometimes they say, borrow each other's confidence, right? Or borrow each other's, kind of motivation if need be. And do this together. And I just want to publicly say how proud I am of all of you guys. Thank you. Good job. Good job. Okay. I want to give the floor over to Ryan now. Ryan is going to kind of, I'm going to ask you, Ryan, just to kind of give us a bit of an overview about how you kind of set this up, right? How do you explain it to or offer it to a prospect? And if you can kind of walk us through a little bit of the kind of pre-work, if you will, and then if you can walk us through how you physically do it and walk us through how you would share that, of course, with the prospect as well and answer any follow-up questions they have. So I will put myself on mute. You have permission to share your screen. The floor is yours. I don't hear you. Can anyone hear her? No. Okay. Maybe come out and come back in or something. Don't hear you still. Maybe you leave and come right back. Sometimes that solves it. Okay. Let's all turn our cameras on so when she gets back, she'll have full attention. What do you think?
I love it. Hi, Jenny.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else want to share anything cool from the weekend?
Hi, it's Antoine.
Hey, Antoine.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
We're gonna come back to you at the end. Okay, Antoine.
All right.
well,
All right,
you
Ryan,
can
you're up.
give him, I switched to my iPad from my computer since, just in case that, I don't know why the problem, so give me 1 second to pull it up. So if he wants to say something, I'll pull up my thing on this here.
All right, beautiful. Antoine, tell us what you experienced this weekend for me, please.
I went and did a showing, actually.
Okay, how'd that go?
It was good until I didn't realize. Well, I know we have to have a super key like for our listings.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of information about the super key, but I didn't know that I was able to get in, so I never signed up for super. So the first day we went out there, we were just standing outside the whole time. But the clients, they weren't mad or anything, so we just rescheduled for the next day. So yesterday we went out there and went and looked at the property.
Way to keep a good attitude around that, right? The same key gets you into every home out there with a super box, which those long blue boxes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We're almost ready. Let's do. Let me just take a quick moment to remind you guys about something while we wait for Ryan. So today is the 15th of the month. You guys know what you're supposed to do on the 15th of the month? Michael, it looks like you had a little bit of smile. You must know the answer.
Yep.
What are you supposed to do on the 15th of the month, sir?
You're supposed to look at your numbers and see if you're on track to hit them. And if you're not, then you need to adjust what you're doing and add more things and so you can hit your numbers.
That's right. And oftentimes it is sometimes it's addition, right? Sometimes you're going to add more slots for lead gen. Maybe you're going to add more time to learn, something like that. But also more often than not, you're going to do some deletion, right? You're going to have to look at the rest of your month and your calendar and say, hey, I don't know if I've earned the right to go do fill in the blank, right? Because your business, which is the main engine of your kind of financial stability, is struggling. I'm just going to take a moment to be fairly blunt with you guys. I don't see hardly any numbers from this last week, right? We're supposed to turn them in on Sunday or before the call Monday. Very few people have done it this week. So I'm just going to ask you very kindly, please, we can't improve what we're not tracking, you guys. And we all know the second half of November is probably going to be a lot harder to put up those numbers in the first half, just based on the holidays, et cetera. So this is like one of your last weeks in November to really, really push hard. So take 5 minutes and let's clarify what we have done and what we have not done, and put up those numbers. I don't care if they're a zero. If they're a zero, you earned a zero. If they're a one, you earned a one. So just, it is what it is. Let's just put it out there and make efforts to address it. But I don't really like turning my phone on Monday morning and seeing a bunch of nothings. Is that fair?
I just want to, yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to quickly brag on Donna Patrick. She had, from her campaign that she did last week on Facebook, where she had the, is anyone interested in a career in real estate? She had 2 people on career day. And I know at least one of them is signed up. So just wanted to throw that out there. Oh, a win for Donna since she's not here. But yeah, Bill's right.
All right. Ryan, ready?
I think so.
All right.
Hopefully you'll be able to see this on this device. I don't know why. I had to figure out why my computer can't hear me on it, but anyway, yeah. So the equity. So I kind of started thinking about doing the equity. It was a few weeks ago, just trying to. I'm not the type of person that likes to just give people stuff. Like I like it to be a value. You know, if you know, and as a realtor. And a part of it, some of this isn't, I didn't come up with this. This is, you know, I ripped off from someone on the, like a pivot shift call, but you know, there's a lot of talk there about just being the economist of choice and really, how do you provide value as a realtor? Why do people come to you as a realtor? You know, do they come to you because they want to know when to turn their clock back or, you know, for a great pie recipe, you know, no, that's all great, but like you need to be giving them the information that they need as a realtor. And so also I had sent out some information to some neighborhoods that I was near me that I was farming. And most of them, I don't have any kind of phone number or email, any other way to follow up. So I was trying to think like, what's the next way to sort of follow up besides just like a postcard. So this was kind of like my next step for some of these. So, and then I realized like, you know what, I can do this for people I know too. So it's kind of snowballed into like, oh, like I can also give them other information. So I'll just kind of show you the things that have been included. And do I have, are you able to?
You should have permission. Double check.
Okay, so can you see that screen?
Not yet.
Okay, can you see this?
Not yet.
Nothing?
Not yet. No. Says all participants can share, so you should be okay.
Oh, here. Oh, here we go.
Not yet.
Okay, you can't see anything still?
No.
Huh.
Ryan, if you want to email me something, I can pull it up probably.
Hold on one second.
Great job keeping calm under pressure, by the way. Not that there's any pressure here.
Okay, now how about this? I
Yes.
think it says sharing.
There we go. There we go.
It is? Okay. Okay, first, let me show you this though. Hold on. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
All right, so this is the letter, basically, that I kind of put together. And on it up here, where there's kind of a blank space, I handwrite their name, like dear, whoever. But this was sent to a certain neighborhood, and it was really about, not necessarily, sorry, am I highlighting things as I was trying to scroll? It wasn't necessarily about like, sell your home, but here's some information for you. You have a lot of equity in your home, and you can pull all this through public records, which is what I was going to show you how to do. And so this references a letter that I already sent them where I told them that their home value had increased by 14%. And now I kind of reference it. Now it's continued to grow, and now it's at, you know, over 18%.
Wait, before you go on. So you sent out a letter first, not you. This is the second letter. The first.
This
letter,
is the second letter, right?
What was
so
the
I sent it
first
a
letter
couple
now?
months. I sent it like 2 months ago.
Okay.
So this is a follow-up. So, you know, the other one was more like, here's your home value. Are you aware that the home values have gone up? You know, if you're interested in selling, blah, blah, blah. This one is more like, you know what? You have a lot of equity in your home. Interest rates are still low. What are you going to do with that equity? You know, and so here's some ideas like making home renovations, paying off credit card debts. Like it's more of an informational long-term play of, hey, think of all the things you can do with your equity. What do you want to do? You can invest in property, a vacation home, you know, how will you choose to spend this equity? So, and then, so that was the main part of the letter. And then
Hey,
the
Ryan,
next,
I don't mean to like cut you off or interject, but do you ever almost like define equity in your letters? Because I actually was talking to a homeowner and I was using the word equity, and he looked at me with a blank stare and said, I don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh.
well,
Yeah, so like we had a very good educational conversation, but there's literally homeowners out there who don't even know what equity means. So I'm I'm just wondering, like, do you dumb it down like at all or?
Well, I did. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
So I also, the next step is, this is where I pull the equity, and then I make this like fake, just fun check, basically. So this goes with the letter, and it's the equity in the person's home. So they basically, and then I have to cut this up basically, but you kind of get this, this thing that just says, here's the equity, and they see an amount, like an actual amount. And no, I agree with you. Some people, maybe they don't know what equity is, and that's a good point. But this is like, oh, wow, this is a lot of money.
So that number right there is simply the average of the sales price in that neighborhood minus.
No, it's home specific. And I'll show you how I pull it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'd like to see how you got that number.
Yeah. So this is home by home. It takes a little time. I will say that. Like, I've kind of gone through some ways to figure out how to do it. I think I figured out the fastest way, but it's not something you're going to do in a day. Like, you'll probably do a few, you could do a few a week, or, you know, something like that.
Hey guys, you're never going to find anything that makes money that doesn't take time.
Right. So this is and I'll show you how to get it. And then I also sent here, this with it as well. So just some information about the market in the area, and in the areas that are close by that they might be interested in. And then at the bottom is the neighborhood trends just for their neighborhood, and a few that are just right nearby. So they can see how the you know, everything's kind of gone up over the past year.
Wow.
Ryan?
Yes.
Ryan, I want to interrupt. I just want to say, what I love about this is it hits all the personality types. The D in me looks immediately to what I can do with my equity. The I in me is going, ooh, a check. And then the I know S people are looking at these stats going, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And the C people, well, no, I'm sorry. The C people are going, look at this is fantastic. And the S people are, I don't understand S people very well. The S people are liking the statistics, right, Bill?
Well, the S people are just glad that somebody took the time to write their name on a check and send them a piece of mail.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so this has gone with it. And then the other side.
This is so good. Oh my gosh. I'm like blown away, honestly.
So this gives them the top interior and exterior projects that they could do with their equity, and the ranking of them, the ranking of the appeal to buyers, and then the best for home sale, resale. And this is just from, you know, from Realtor. So that's kind of what's gone with it. So the market stats, here's what you can do with your equity, the check that says, here's what your equity is, and then the letter just saying, you know, think about it.
Okay, so all of this initially just came from a cold letter, like a golden letter would, right? You picked a few neighborhoods that were, and you're picking neighborhoods that are in the 7s and 8s.
No, there's different ranges. Some ones, you know, there's another that's a lower one. Like, it's just, you know, it's just some ones that were close to my house, but not my own neighborhood, you know, so, but you could do this in other, you know, neighborhoods. And then like I said, I started kind of looking at it for just people in my sphere, but they're, you know, all over the place, not necessarily in those areas.
Just if I can make one tiny little recommendation, pull that last page up real fast.
Yep. Oh, wait, that's not. Oh, here's another one. I didn't send this, but I think this is a good one. It shows the cost versus value. If you've got someone, I actually used this for someone that was they were trying to decide if they should remodel or sell their home. And I said, well, here's the cost versus value, and here's sort of how the trends have gone and why you're not getting as much value because the costs are so high now. And they're like, you're right, we need to sell. So
yeah, so what this shows, guys, is there is not a single investment that you can make that will return barely even half of the money. Actually, garage door replacement is the highest, strangely enough, but nothing is over 100%, which means people need to understand that when they put money into their home, it's not always for investment's sake. It's because they want a doggy door, not because they're going to be able to spend $1,000 on a doggy door and charge somebody later $2,000 for it. It's because they want a doggy door for themselves.
Yeah, and I think this one is good. It shows it, and that's just because the costs are going up so high. Like, it's hard to get labor and materials and everything else that you can't get as much of return because it's going to cost you a lot more to do it.
Okay, what kind of return did you get? Or like, how many of these letters did you send out? How many people called you? That kind of stuff.
Well, I just sent the first ones out like a week ago. I haven't heard anything yet. And then I've got a whole table worth of ones to send out today. So I haven't gotten it's taken me a while to like figure out how to get it all together. And again, it's not, the point of it isn't, wait, you wanted to see that other thing. The point of it isn't
Yeah, that.
as
I would
much to
just
get.
put 0.6 and 0.9, just because like
Okay.
the quick eye might lose that decimal point, and that's like super telling right there. I know I'm being anal, but like
Okay.
for the person that's really studying that, I want them to see that how few months of supply there is.
Yeah, I wanted it to be days, but you can't really pull that. So I guess I could try to translate it, but I didn't think that was accurate, but yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So this is more, again, like this, like I said, like I don't expect people to be hammering down my door with it. It's more like to establish credibility in an area where they don't know me, in these neighborhoods that like I've reached out to, but to try to do it quickly. Like,
100%.
okay, this person knows what they're talking about. They know this information. They're helpful. They're providing me with data and stuff I can use rather than, just a, hey, buy with me card.
Yep.
And Ryan, I might change the months of supply, the number of months of supply to number of homes or number of months of home supply, because people don't understand. I think people that aren't in the industry don't understand really what that means.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just a thought.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is fantastic. I mean,
This is blowing me away, honestly.
so amazing. That's why I wanted you to share it, because when you shared this with me, I was like, I mean, genius.
So I'll show you how I do it. This is what you really need to know. Let me get back to this. Okay. So first of all, can you see this now?
Yes.
Okay. So if you go into FMLS and then you need to go into Remine. Okay. And then if you go into search, so there's a couple ways you can do it. One is if you search for the whole neighborhood, for instance, like I'm going to pull up, this neighborhood was called Foxworth. It's typing very slow. Okay, and then if you get down here, why isn't it pulling up? Oh, here's the neighborhood. You click on the neighborhood, it's going to pull up the whole neighborhood. Okay, one way you can do it, it's a quick and fast way, is you just click on this button that says home equity. And it'll show you this colorful graph. But over on the side up at the top, there's a button that says map or list. And if you push list, it lists out the home equity for all the homes in this neighborhood.
Wow.
Now, and this is based off of what they owe on their mortgage versus what the original mortgage was versus the home value of that particular home.
And
now the
does
bad
it
part about
change,
this,
like, for example, would that change next month? Or I'm just trying to figure out,
yes, it'll
the
change next month.
but it'll change probably both ways. Number one, a re-estimate of the mortgage balance, and secondly, a re-estimate of the value.
Yes. And I'll show you the full data, because this didn't end up working for me because it doesn't give you a name and it's not in any kind of order and you can't sort it. And I had to basically just, you can scroll through the pages. It's good if you've got already a spreadsheet out and you can match it up, but the numbers, the addresses are all over and it was taking forever. And I couldn't figure out, like, where are they getting all this information from? So basically but this is a good way to look at the whole neighborhood. And if you already have a spreadsheet, that you could do this every month and look and see. But what I actually did.
Look at all that equity. Gosh.
Hold on, let me get
This
back
is
to the
genius, Ryan. These people, they're sitting on hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity.
Which is kind of my point. Like, this neighborhood has not had a lot of turnover, particularly. Hold on, it went back out. And so part of it is educating them. Like, I don't think they realize how much their home values have increased, honestly. Okay, so the other way to do it is if you can either type in an address if you've got like a whole list, and then it's easy just to change a number and kind of go through the streets. Or you can click on, for instance, a home and just go home by home if you were looking at a whole neighborhood. But if you, okay, let's see, here's this house right here. I'm just going to click on it. When it comes up, hold on, it's taking a second. Is it looking all jumbled?
You could print out that picture of the neighborhood where it has like all the lots defined in the streets.
Yeah.
And you could say to yourself, hey, by the end of the year, I'm going to knock all these doors and make sure they're connecting me and my face and how cheery and helpful I am to the pieces of mail I've been sending them for the last couple months.
Right. So it's got all of that. So here I am in a home. Can you guys see the home?
Yep.
Okay. So a lot of that actually still has the pictures from the home from whenever the last time it sold, which is actually good because you can kind of get an idea of it. But when you go right down here, okay, right down here to where it has public records, it'll tell you right here, the value of this home is 740 something thousand. The loan balance is 261,000. So it gives you an equity amount. It also tells you the names of the people that own it. So if you've already got a spreadsheet, maybe you've got it from Cole or something, you can say, okay, are these the people that match up?
Yep.
Now, if you're looking at this thinking, I don't know that that's the right value, you can also go down to the valuation section. And this is what I find, I actually use this a lot. Hold on, it doesn't want to go down there. There we go. So here's a valuation, and it gives you sources of where they're getting all this from. So you've got a few different things. And the interesting thing is, until last week, Zillow was on here. And then after everything that happened, they took all the Zillow data off, which I liked the Zillow data there because then I knew what the people were probably looking at.
Yeah,
but they took the Zestimates off of there like last week. But anyway, you can see where the values are coming from. And the one that they always use for this valuation is the estimated value from First American. That's the one that they're using. So if you think that that might be too high or too low, you can see where the others are coming in, or you can just look at this whole average, up here in the blue, but it gives you an idea. If it's all over the place, then I'd go into FMLS and start pulling up the neighborhood and kind of look there, like, especially for people, if you're a whole neighborhood, it's a lot easier than if you're, going to individual people. But this gives you the range of where it's all coming from.
I just think this is absolutely a powerful way to get to know a neighborhood. I mean, you're going to be the Foxworth expert. There's no question about it. You're going to know which homes are worth what. You're going to know what the average valuation is. You're going to know what the equity range is for a lot of people. You're going to be an expert. You're becoming the expert of choice for that neighborhood.
I just doing this, I've learned so much, especially when I went through all these people that I know, like in the sphere, and I realized, like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about this neighborhood. And it made me kind of dig into it and look at it. Now I feel like I know, like I've gotten so much smarter, just like looking all of this stuff up and getting to know like every house. Like I said, it takes a little bit of time, but the easiest way I found was to make a spreadsheet and to kind of split screen it, because I already had the data, all of the data, because I'd already sent it to a neighborhood. So I had all their addresses and the people there. But I went through, so I had that set up, and then I had the this data, and I kind of go house by house, putting it in, and I would type into my spreadsheet the value and the loan amount that they had on there, and then the for the equity amount, I actually made that into a formula, like value minus loan balance equals equity kind of thing, so that then if I wanted to change the home value and say, you know what, I think this home's worth more, or I think this home's worth less, then it would automatically change the equity. Or if I go back in another month and I want to change it, you can kind of got it in there. But that was sort of how I did it. And I sort of went through all of that first and made this whole spreadsheet. And then I used the spreadsheet to make those equity checks.
The first thing that's popping into my mind is this project initially starts as like a kind of a cold marketing piece, right? You're going to do all the data, you're going to do all the research, make it look pretty, send it out into the world and hope that people respond to it. But what you could do as you continue to mail more and more, and if you supplement that with calls and door knocking and maybe an open house or something like that, then you really start to penetrate the neighborhood and people really start to associate you, as you mentioned, as the economist of choice. The other thing that I could see you doing, which I believe you've actually already done, is you can almost like take a picture of the fact that you're doing this research for the community, right? And say something to the effect of, hey, who's looking for complementary equity analysis, and post it on Facebook or whatever. And then you have people that don't live in this community that are part of your audience, that see how hard you're working and see your commitment to being the area expert and the economist of choice and all of that. And they raise their hand, hey, I'd like to know how much. Just so you know, I know this is going to be a little controversial. I get it. If somebody owns a home, let's say that's $700,000, and they own, let's say they owe $300,000 on it, they have $400,000 worth of equity. That home is appreciating or depreciating at the exact same rate, regardless of how much equity is held, which basically means that that money is not working for you at all, right? It is the only thing it is doing is minimizing the monthly cost of owning that home, right? So basically, if you were to take that $400,000, you're essentially getting the prevailing interest rate on that money, which means that if you believe there's an investment out there where you could get more than the prevailing interest rate, which I would say is most any investment right now, right? Then you should reconsider whether that's too much money of equity, right? So you need to be able to discuss and kind of have an intelligent financial conversation around these people, because somebody that owns a home like this, they got some financial acumen, right? So you need to be able to sit down with them and have a conversation with them about ways in which you can help them strategize on making sure that equity is working as strongly as possible for them. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mhm. And I
Yeah.
also, go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say, I felt that too, and then the next time I do the letter, I'm trying to figure out how to subtly say that without being, kind of like your money is not working for you sitting there. Do you know what like kind of what you just said? But I haven't figured out the best way to say that, because I bet 12, this neighborhood has about 100 homes or so. 12 to 15 of them have 100% equity. Like they are paid off, and I'm like, they've got hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, I know the Dave Ramsey followers would say, oh, that's great, you should keep it that way. I actually couldn't disagree more. I think that's a really poor way of using your money.
Yeah, so I just was researching, is it a good idea to use home equity? And it says home equity loans, there's two things I wanted to say. Home equity loans make sense for people who want to take advantage of low interest rates and long repayment terms. So, I mean, that's a good thing. The other thing I would start doing, Ryan, and for everyone else on here, is I would start collecting stories of people who have used their home equity and are winning with it. For instance, people who are buying rental properties, and then send out those stories. But you could send out the question, is it a good idea to use home equity? And say, I'm doing a survey.
That's a good too.
I'm doing a survey. What are your thoughts on it? Here's some of the ways that you can use your home equity. And by the way, here's a story about Joanna, who had her home paid off and took some home equity out, and she bought a rental property, and now she's cash flowing positive $500 a month or $600 a month, whatever it is.
I also want to share one other stat. My face has been looking over at this other screen for 2 seconds because I just wanted to verify something. But Foxworth has been, obviously this neighborhood was built in what, the early 90s? Yeah, 1990. So you would think that after, what is that, 31 years, there would have been somebody that would come in and kind of create a real estate dominance in that neighborhood.
But there's not.
There's not at all. Do you know that
No.
in the last 1 year, there have been 3 sales in the neighborhood?
Right, which is partly the reason. That's partly the reason I chose this neighborhood, is because, and another one it's at a lower price point, who's had 1 sale in the past 3 years. And it's because I'm like, these people got to sell, like they, and no one's, they don't have a realtor that's in there because no one's selling.
Yeah, this is kind of like in the range of it might be considered beyond the move up range, right? So that means you might have a little bit of a lower turnover ratio, but and some people might say, well, I don't want to market to that neighborhood for that reason exactly. But I think there's a huge amount of value here, right? If you look
Well,
at
and that's
buyer's
why
agent,
those neighborhoods that I included on the that other sheet, the PowerPoint that had the stats, and then at the bottom it had the chart with the other neighborhoods. Those were all nearby neighborhoods, but maybe a step up. So I kind of like show them, you know, here's where you could go, you know, without, you know, even if they wanted to. So that was kind of what I thought about that too.
So just to close out that thought, there's one pending and 3 sales in the last 365 days. Then I went out another year. So 730 days from today. So 2 years, there's only another 2 sales. So that, and by the way, there are 12 different agents involved. Six sellers all had different agents. 6 buyers all had different agents. There wasn't a single repeat. That is a wide open neighborhood.
Yeah, and it occurs to me.
My thinking, you know, no one's in here. It's a nice neighborhood. Someone's got to do it.
That's right.
Of all the agents that I know, only Michelle Slater is intentionally targeting a specific area. I mean, agents do say they do it, but they don't do it with a lot of consistency. So this is a great opportunity. And the other thing that occurs to me is Bill said this is a little bit above the price, but you could go out to the Real People Search or True People Search and find out the members of the family and their ages. So if you started seeing a neighborhood that was a move up neighborhood that was maybe, you know, 2007 or 2008, where they probably moved up because their family was expanding, and now it's 17 years later, and those kids are possibly going to college, and that's a chance for the family to move to a smaller home potentially, or the kids are moving out of the home.
This data also, like, you can look at it like in terms of ownership time, you can look at it in terms of sales score, which I haven't necessarily found that to be very accurate, but you know, you can look at absentee versus, you know, like there's a lot of stuff you can get here. So if you just wanted to, you know, target sales score, you know, and go not just in this neighborhood, but all around, you could do that too.
You would also go to neighborhoods that like that are one level, I hate to say it this way, but kind of one level below this, like a neighborhood like Breckenridge, for example, that's right around the corner from this, that those sales are probably more in the 4s, and those people bought in the 2s, and so they're sitting on a ton of equity, and then they can transfer and move into this type of neighborhood, right? So if you can go find I got buyers in the market that live in similar neighborhoods close by, perhaps in the same school district, that are a little lower in price, and go cultivate those guys to move into this community.
Yeah, and this is Breckenridge here, and you know, it's similar. There are some agents though that do a lot in Breckenridge.
Okay, so can I just let me show you? I want to make sure everyone's just realized what happened. I threw out the name of a random neighborhood. Within 10 seconds, Ryann had it on the thing, which means she knows it. She is proving herself as the economist of choice. If I were to say Breckenridge to you guys, would you know what I was talking about?
Colorado, right? Great skiing.
I know Breckenridge, and they do move. Like, there's been a lot of activity in that neighborhood.
I know, because those homes were
open house.
selling for 170, 10 years ago, and now they're selling in the 4s, right?
Yeah, or even yeah, it's grown a lot. That one, their equity has gone up, because this was like the place that people always moved in, like right when they came to the area, because it was one of the few, that they could more affordable in the school district.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's had a lot too. I mean, it's it's a big neighborhood. It's a large one. So, the ones that I chose were a little smaller, so that I could actually blanket the neighborhood. Like Breckenridge has, I don't know, I think it's close to 700 homes. So it would take a lot to cover the whole neighborhood. Like, you'd have to be much more selective, I think, in the neighborhood, or just target that neighborhood. So
that's when you can sort by sales score, for example.
Right. So you can look at
people who have the 100 highest equity amounts or something.
But you can see there, most of them are very low. Like there's not a lot of you don't see many high or even medium sales scores in the area.
Right. Let me say one other topic real fast, which is you are never going to be able to do this type of analysis when you are constantly like driving from here to there and there to there and there to there, right? This is not activity that happens without a massive amount of intentionality, right? If let's just say, for example, you heard this message today and you say, oh my gosh, I got to do this. If you don't put it on your calendar and go sit at your workstation and not leave until this project is done, it'll never happen. Okay. This is the type of thing that can take somebody from a quote new agent without a lot of business to somebody that appears to be the neighborhood expert for a handful of communities in a very affluent area and is doing deal after deal after deal after deal in no time. But it's not going to happen unless you're intentional, right? This obviously took Ryann a lot of time, and it didn't happen because she like was doing it in the car or like on the way to a tennis match, right? She said to herself, I'm gonna take over this neighborhood, and this is step one on how it's gonna happen. So thank you. This was
Yeah,
awesome.
it takes time. It took a lot of time just to figure out the best way to pull the equity. So I hope I can at least save people time there. But yes, you have to just either do it in stages, like you do all the equity things and then you do, whatever. Or, you could find a way, you could do the letter differently and put a blank where you handwrite in their equity. I don't know if you didn't want to do the check. I did have to do the checks in Publisher. So if you don't have Publisher, which I didn't know I had, but it's part of the like Microsoft Office suite, basically. So if you've got that, then I can send you that file or I can post it. But if you don't, you'd have to find a way to recreate that if you wanted to do the check thing. Just as a FYI.
This is so great. I really, really appreciate your commitment to your business. And I also very much appreciate your willingness to share all of this. Does anyone have any questions? All right, let's go around the circle real fast. Tell us what your one thing for the day is. Thank you, Ryann. This was phenomenal. Y'all
Fantastic.
better watch out. Ryan's going to take
Actually-
over North Fulton.
I actually have one quick question for Ryann.
Sure.
Hey, where did you get the information? The sheet that you had where you had, and I could probably Google this, but the form that had like the different upgrades to your house and the return on
Cost
investment.
versus value.
Yeah.
Yes. Google cost versus value. It's like
Uh-huh.
a Zonda Media is the one that puts it out, but Google that and it'll come out. You had to put in like your email address just to download it. And then you can actually put in zip code specific and it'll give
Okay.
you information there too.
You said Donda Media?
Zonda, but it's on like ZONDA. But I think if you just do cost versus value renovations, it came up. Somehow I found it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, I'm just checking Breckenridge while we were talking about it. So over the last 1 year, there has been 7 sales. One person listed 2 of them. And all 7 of them were sold by 7 different buyer's agents. So out of the 14 available sides in the last year, there were 13 different agents. So Breckenridge is wide open too, y'all.
Okay.
I've done the research, or my assistant did the research. We looked at over 2,000 neighborhoods in North Metro Atlanta, and there was literally like 6 of them that had what I called a dominant agent, which is more than 25% market share. Y'all, every neighborhood is pretty much open, wide open.
Like I said, not too many agents are being intentional about, blanketing an area and becoming that area expert.
That's right. All right, Michael, what's your one thing for today?
I have 2 appointments I need to confirm today for listings.
Excellent. All right, don't forget those pre-qualification questions now.
Right.
Jenny, what is your one thing?
Catching up on my contacts.
All right, love
So-
to hear that. How many are you going to do today? How will you know you've won today? How many contacts are we going to knock out today? How about
As many
20?
as I can.
You are
I guess
in bold.
I'm in bold. Yeah. I did a bunch of contacts this weekend, so I just need to record it and find out where I'm at. So,
All right,
and
beautiful.
then do 20.
Okay, Melissa.
I'm gonna say my contacts also. I am volunteering at my daughter's book fair for 3 hours today. So I'm hoping to get some contacts out of that.
Good. Wear a Keller Williams hat or something.
I'm gonna wear my name tag. Not
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Ebony.
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you at the end and you're going to tell me, okay? Ashley.
It'll be the same.
No. We'll think of something now. Ashley.
So I went to John Serrano's class last week about setting up a system for lead gen, and I am going to follow it to the T with script practice and down to calling and following up. And one of the things he asked us to do is to set up 20 people on a neighborhood portal by Christmas time. So I'm going to start that.
Love it. All right, Ryan, what is your plan for today?
Well, I picked up through a referral a potential buyer that's coming down for Thanksgiving from Chicago. They're interested in golf course communities in Johns Creek, up to 1.5 million. So I need to send them some information today. That's my
Wow. All right.
I'm on it.
All right. Make sure you ask a lot. That's a lifestyle type buyer.
Oh yeah, no, I had a whole consultation with him from the softball field on Saturday.
Okay.
I have lots of notes, and yes, I got the whole gamut, and yeah, so I just need to start sending them some information and listings and websites and other things.
Cool. And I'd go on Tiff's Treats and I'd pick the biggest box of chocolate chip cookies they have and go send it to the person who sent you that piece of business.
Yes, I've already sent her something as well.
Yeah. That's like so many cookies, they don't even know what to do with them. All right, Antoine, what's your one thing for today?
Do some more CMAs to learn the market a little bit better.
Love it.
But when it comes time to list properties, or call some FISBOs, I can call and then have like a spreadsheet and some numbers to go over with. So build some more confidence.
All right, Jaleesa.
So I'm going to probably just go follow the D2 system and make some calls from there and work on the other systems that I'm trying to develop.
All right, beautiful. Tracy, what's your plan for today? What's your one thing?
Okay, hi. My one thing is over the weekend, I was going through my contact list, setting up my contacts in Command, and also going through like my Facebook contacts to see, what information I can get, especially my Georgia Facebook contacts, so that I can send them out this letter that I received from Leanza about, me starting a real estate business, and just thanking them for my past, for them supporting me in the past, and basically just letting them know that that's what I'm doing and I appreciate their support. So I'm going to continue that.
Awesome. Awesome. Crystal.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let me take this off here. I've got a lot going on. I have 268 doors that I'll be going to today to drop off pop-by gifts.
Now that's intentionality. Wow.
It's taken me a long time, but I've finally identified 4 farms, and for a total of 445 homes, different areas, different price points. I've touched on all 4 of them with a piece of mail today. I'll be bringing an item of value which is, I don't know if you guys can see it. I've been, let's see, you probably can't, but this is the first one. You know, it's a pop by gift. Have you been mulling over the market conditions inside? In addition to that, I've created an item of value showing how do we share this. I don't know if you
Take
guys
your
can see
background
this.
off. Just take your background off for a
I'm
minute.
not taking my background off. That's not happening. Anyway, I'll share it. But basically, it's an
You can
equity.
take a picture of it and post it if you want.
Sure, I'll do that. It's basically an equity news update showing graphs as well as showing what's happening in the area, as well as sharing personal stories of some of the wins where one of the homeowners actually, after purchasing just a year ago in September of 2021, has already sold and netted $113,000, which will be seed money for their business. And so I've touched on many of the different things depending upon what your disc profile is. And so I'm exhausted right now. I'm still getting ready, but stuffing and folding, and we had a stuff party with my family and my granddaughter and my daughter, and we all sat down in the center of the floor and stuffed all of these envelopes with either popcorn or apple cider. And my opener is, hey, I'm popping by to see whether or not you're thinking of selling. So I have that, and I have a listing that I'm taking at 5:30. So very full day.
Wow, what a day. I love the fact that you're bringing your family into the business, right? I think
Every one of my girls are in real estate. So
yeah, I honestly think that our kids need to understand that like stuff doesn't just show up in the fridge because it shows up. Like we don't just get like to live in this great house because we're lucky. We have to earn everything. And I think that children need to be a part of that, right? At least understand it. Great job. Phenomenal. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Candace.
My one thing is coaching 10 fantastic newer agents today. Happy to do that.
All right. And my one thing is I am pretty much nonstop all day, but looks like I probably have about half an hour or so. And my intention is to set 2 appointments today.
Well, Bill, I'm going to free up time with me because I'm going to be in the field. So I definitely have to reschedule with you today.
All right. Let's talk by WhatsApp and we'll figure out a new time. Okay.
And just saying, if we've got a one-on-one today, please make sure your numbers are updated before the call so we don't have to spend time on that. That'll give us more time to work on things that are we need to work on.
Right. When you're on track, we talk about the future. When you're off track, we have to talk about past. So which one is more fun, guys? All right, Ryan, today was awesome. I really, really am grateful for the time you invested preparing and for your generosity and sharing all that you are learning day by day. I'm excited to be on that journey with you. Congratulations, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ryan.
Wait. Ebony, what's your one thing? Ah, man, she was the first.
She's gone.
I am not going to let her off the hook, just so y'all know.
Okay.